Welcome back to Bassum Gaming, everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a quick little video where I explore the insides of the safe houses in Sly 2. So instead of just choosing your character from there and being limited in motion, I'm actually going to explore these fully in 3 dimensions with these characters. Most of what I'm going to do is not possible on the base game on the PS2 or PS3. However, I'm playing on a PS2 emulator and I have this thing called the Sly Cooper Trilogy Trainer, which allows me to go wherever I want and absolutely break the game. In the Black Chateau, you can actually do this in the base game with both Sly and Bentley. Now, with Sly, you're going to have 100% save files, so you can use Mega Jump, which is a cheat code, and with that, you can just kind of hop right in this window right here. There's a little space at the top where it's not fully solid, so you can just kind of fly right on in. Same with Bentley. If you have his hover pack, you can make your way up there. Unfortunately, Murray is too big to fit in there, and a lot of times can't even make it up all the way, but with the Trilogy Trainer, I was able to get all of the characters in there and just show it off a little bit for you guys. Episode 2 is also possible in the base game. With Sly, you just have to do a couple glitch high jumps and use your feral pounce to get onto the roof of the safe house, and from there just jump down on into it. And that's about it. You can actually explore the entire thing and even go into the little hallway leading up to it. Surprisingly, this hallway is completely detailed, even though you're not really supposed to see any of it, but it's completely modeled. It's also very possible with Bentley in the base game just by using your hover pack. I believe I did it with Murray one time in the base game using his turnbuckle launch. I do have a buffed up turnbuckle launch in the emulated version of the game, so I was able to do it pretty easily in here. Still wasn't 100% sure if you can do it in the base game, but either way, I was able to get all the characters in there myself, and I think it looks pretty cool. You definitely have a really cool view on top of the safe house, and even inside of it. I mean, it's just, you can see the entire level. Episode 3, I was never able to do it in the base game. That one's pretty locked tight, but like I said, Trilogy Trainer, I was able to get in there. Nothing too special about this one. It's actually very small, very compact, and yeah, not really a good one in my opinion, but it was still cool to see. Unlike Episode 3, Episode 4 is quite large and you can run around in, has plenty of space. I actually surprised myself with the Trilogy Trainer. I can access Episode 4 with Murray. He was never actually a playable character in the base game in that episode because he was locked up, he was in prison. So that was actually the best part about this whole exploration of the safe house thing for Episode 4, in my opinion, was just to be able to play as Murray. Unfortunately, you can't get in the safe house just by using glitches or anything, sort of like in Episode 3 if you're playing on the PS2 or PS3, but hey, you're not really missing out on much. This one's kind of bland, kind of boring. Episode 5 is like Episode 4, is a lot of space, but just really not much to look at. I mean, through the windows, you do get a pretty good look at the level, but you got that anyways when you're choosing your character. I'm not a big fan of this one. It's alright, but it's probably my least favorite in the entire game to look at. Episode 6 is a little confusing for me figuring that all out, because whenever I would move any of the characters into the building just from the ground level, I would fall into the water, and I couldn't figure out why at first, but then I realized the actual safe house is above the door, and below that is basically nothing, and you'll just fall right into the water. I was able to get myself inside of the Cooper van on accident when just trying to get into the safe house. I thought that was a little bit funny. But this safe house is a little bit more interesting because it's 2 levels. I mean, you can't really explore the first level at all. But a little bit better. I kind of like this one a little bit more. When entering Episode 7, I was on sort of a brand new save file. So as soon as I exited the safe house, I tried to trigger a Banaki-Com cutscene. And I ended up warping Sly far away in the middle of that cutscene. And that just created some really weird stuff. I was still in the cutscene, but Sly had to get back to the safe house, so the game automatically moved him and made him walk around, and it was strange. But when I got back, the cutscene was not activated anymore, and the door was sort of like half open. You could see into the safe house. You couldn't walk into it. It was still solid as if the door was actually there, but you could see into it. One of the weirdest glitches I've seen in the game, or just something that I really haven't experienced before. But getting into the safe house in the base game is possible. All I have to do is sort of walk on this beam right here, hang on it, just try and get a good footing on it, and then jump into the water, and the game should teleport you on top of the safe house, because it tries to teleport you on top of that beam, but there's not enough room, so they just put you in the safe house instead, and you can do this with any of the characters. Episode 8 was strange. I never realized how small the inside of the safe house actually is. I was able to get all the characters in there, but you can barely even move around, and getting the camera in a good position to where you can see most of it is very difficult as well. A lot of times when I tried to get into it as well, I ended up under it. So for some reason, there's some solid ground there. Yeah, it's a very tricky one. You're definitely not getting into this in the base game, and even with the Trilogy Trainer, I had a little bit of difficulty.